I think Ozito is just finishing out. There we go. Ozito has their Pokemon. We have some different devices being used right now, so it's a little bit different in sizing, but we do have two clear pictures, and we have our two Fairy Wind users versing off against each other. It is Togetic versus Shadow Jumpluff. Now, we do see Shadow Jumpluff in the back for the C10 and their Quagsire as well, a shiny Quagsire. This is really good for Ozito's Kingdra. Ozito doesn't want to have that Kingdra in front of the Togetic, and Ozito knows that, looking to make sure that they block against these attacks. Says, I need to take down this Togetic to keep it away from my Shadow Kingdra. I think the C10 might also realize that gameplay there. Went ahead and blocked the Aero Blast. Let's see. In comes the Energy Ball bait. The C10 calls the bait, takes the Energy Ball, and is now at a energy advantage. Ozito deciding if they want to block this Dazzling Gleam, chooses to take it. It does some heavy damage, but even in the Shadow form, Jumpluff is still a very bulky Pokemon, is able to catch. The C10 is able to catch on their Shadow Jumpluff, but they're not going to want to do this because in comes an Aeroblast, which is super effective, and they're going to take down almost all of the C10's Jumpluff. Ozito, throwing that Aeroblast into the Jumpluff, makes an incredible gain of momentum. Boom, indeed, and is then able to catch this Energy Ball on their own Dunsparce, preserving their Kingdra, knowing that Togetic is still in the back. Out comes that shiny... Out comes that shiny Quagsire, making its debut on this screen, letting Ozito know the full line, while the C10 still doesn't know what Pokemon Aeroblast. I'm so sorry. Acrobatics. I saw too many Lugias in the chat today. Thank you for catching that. But yes, the C10 still doesn't know what Pokemon Ozito has in the back, what could be their third Mon, and I'm sure Ozito's going to do everything in his power to make sure that it isn't revealed, that he's able to keep that a secret to avoid exposing too much strategy. Goes and blocks this Aqua Tail, this not very effective Aqua Tail, because there was CMP there, knowing that they would get the other shield out of the C10. So in comes the Energy Ball. There goes up the shield. Is a no shields game. The C10 throwing the Aqua Tail, having to use everything they have to take down this Jumpluff, is able to do so. Will we see the Kingdra come back in? No. We do not see Kingdra come back in, and this actually opens up the door for the C10 because that Dazzling Gleam is going to be deadly if it makes contact with this Kingdra. Is Ozito able to get to a Swift in time? I don't think so. I think a Dazzling Gleam is going to come through first. It is coming through first. Will this be enough to knock out the Shadow Kingdra? Shadow Kingdra is not going to be strong enough to hold on. It is going to go down. Down goes Shadow Kingdra. Down goes Ozito, and the C10 takes the first battle. The C10 turning that around after a devastating acrobatics taken onto their Shadow Jumpluff, which effectively knocked out the Pokemon entirely. That took a lot of very precise gaming, and yes, the right alignment in the back in order to win that. The C10 is up 1-0. We go for the 2-0 win. Both trainers are locked in. And let's see what we have. It is the Shadow Quillfish making its debut versus Furret. Now, Shadow Quillfish is glassy as all can be, but it is spammy too. It gets those Aqua Tails in a pacing of 4, and those will do heavy damage against any Pokemon. Ozito taking that first Aqua Tail onto the Furret. Furret is not going to be able to survive 2, but Quillfish won't be able to survive 1. The C10 needs to block this if they want to preserve this Pokemon at all. Quillfish now has to command all the shields if they want to stay around, is able to heavily outpace as well, beating out Furret. Now, does Ozito want to force another shield out of the C10? Ozito does. Ozito puts up a shield on their Furret, is able to farm just a little bit more, but the catch goes for the catch onto their Jumpluff, is able to Ozito's able to continue to farm, but still goes for the Brick Break before swapping on out. Wants to get that debuff before getting on out of there, knowing that this Shadow Jumpluff, even though it is a Shadow Pokemon, is still very bulky. Ozito brought both of his rollout users, the Dunsparce and the Miltank, in the back. Looking to bring out the Dunsparce here. And Dunsparce running double nuke, Ice Beam, and Thunderbolt. Now, that's an interesting pick, and let's see if it pays off. Will not having that body slam hurt Ozito here in the long run? The C10 choosing to put up the shield on their Jumpluff instead of saving it for that Shadow Quillfish, knowing that the second any move come in contact with that Shadow Quillfish, it will be going down. Ozito taking the energy ball onto Miltank. Miltank goes down. And out comes, oh my goodness, out comes Furret, tries to throw the Swift into the debuffed Jumpluff, but the C10 is able to catch it onto the Shadow Quillfish and sacrifices the remaining energy they have on that Shadow Quillfish, because now in comes the Piloswine, but Ozito swaps immediately on over to the Dunsparce, where Dunsparce does have this Rock Slide and the Drill Run. Went for the Rock Slide. Gonna see how that plays out for them, because there are no shields for the C10. So 2 drill runs could have gone for it, perhaps going for the Rock Slides just in case there's a catch at one point, because there is the potential chance that this the C10 will try to catch one of these moves onto their Jumpluff. So if he goes for straight Rock Slides, he avoids any catch of a Drill Run, but Drill Run would have paced faster, giving the new pacing of Drill Run in Season 27. So, will being shy of that move make the difference? Is able to get the farm down with the 1 HP Furret onto the Piloswine, getting rid of the rest of that energy, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think that the C10 is going to get to that energy ball, and this will be enough to knock out the Dunsparce, meaning that the C10 will take the 2-0 victory in this matchup.